Welcome to Lunch with Legacy Leaders, a weekly talk show with local and national thought leaders on issues impacting the Black community. Now introducing our host, Miss Anne-Marie Sorrell.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Lunch with Legacy Leaders. I am your host, Anne-Marie Sorrell, President and CEO of the Mosaic Group. Before we get started with our very special guest today, I'd like to thank our sponsors for sponsoring this broadcast: Broward Health, AARP, and the Florida Lottery. Also, the African American Black Alzheimer's Disease Initiative at the John P. Hussman Institute for Human Genomics, University of Miami Miller School of Medicine. If you or someone you know has experienced memory loss or having memory problems, please contact their research team for more information at 877-686-6444. Now, today I have in the studio my sister, a powerhouse. She is just absolutely amazing, Miss Burnadette Norris Weeks, who's a partner at Austin Pammy's Norris Weeks Powell. Welcome, Burnadette.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, I'm happy to have you. We are way overdue for this interview. But for our audience who may not know you, which I don't know who that would be, I want to Oh no, seriously. I want to just read your bio briefly for them, and then we're going to dive right in because there's so much for us to cover today. So Burnadette Norris Weeks is a partner in the law firm of Austin Pammy's Norris Weeks Powell. She serves as counsel to various governmental entities, including cities in Broward, Miami-Dade, and Palm Beach County. She is former counsel to the Broward County Supervisor of Elections for more than 16 years. Additionally, her law firm handles serious personal injury and wrongful death cases. Burnadette serves on the board of directors for the Greater Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce and the board of directors for Habitat for Humanity of Broward. She's a graduate of Leadership Florida and Leadership Broward. Burnadette is founder of the Women of Color Empowerment Institute, a membership organization with a mission to enhance and expand leadership opportunities by women of color. WOCEI spearheads a yearly conference that brings hundreds of women in leadership from across the country. Burnadette's extensive community and professional involvement has earned her the Above and Beyond Award from the American Bar Association section of litigation, the Urban League's Margaret Roach Humanitarian Award, and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the TJ Rhetoric Bar Association. She's a past honoree of the National Trumpet Awards Foundation and was recognized by Legacy Magazine of One in South Florida's 25 most powerful, influential, and prominent Black women in business. Burnadette has also received a Leader of the Year award from the Leadership Broward Foundation, among other impressive awards and recognitions. During Women's History Month, Burnadette is a part of a new exhibition in the Galleria Mall called History Fort Lauderdale. Burnadette is admitted to practice law before the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals and the United States District Courts for the Northern, Middle, and Southern Districts of Florida. She is married and lives in Fort Lauderdale. So welcome again, Burnadette.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. I wanted to stop you like a minute ago.
It's okay. I think, we need to make sure
that was painful.
It is like kind of weird hearing your bio, right? You're like, that's all me? So I know I just said that, but in your own words, please share your journey on becoming one of the most prominent African-American lawyers in Florida, and so much more that we're going to go into, but kind of give us like a snippet of your journey. How do we get here?
Well, you are always so kind, my sister. That's a generous question. I've been practicing law now for just about 30 years. So it's taken some time to understand the demands of practicing law while also balancing my personal demand for my life and demanding a quality life for myself. I've practiced in a few different law firm settings, with a large firm, with the legislature, for governmental entities, and now for more than 20 years in my own practice, in my own law firm. And so I knew a long time ago that working behind a desk and just billing wasn't going to be the life for me. So it's very important for me to be involved in the community, and that's a part of our firm's culture. So thank goodness I have law partners who believe in community involvement and believing that lawyers are change agents. Really, if you're a lawyer, and especially if you're a Black lawyer, you ought to consider yourself a change agent and someone who has been blessed to receive a legal education, and that often comes with being able to think in a certain way in terms of having a structured way of thinking and being able to analyze things well and write well. And so hopefully those kind of things you can take out into the community and do good. So in my own life journey, I've been, I told you some time ago, I figured out that sitting behind a desk wasn't going to be a good thing for me. So one example of that is my last job that I had working for someone else over 20 years ago. I was planning for my wedding. And I can remember, and this was in a firm, it was in a large firm where all you did was bill every minute of the day. And I can remember coming in that morning at 7 o'clock and leaving. I had a 2-hour appointment with my wedding planner, right? And so we were going to go taste the cake, and I was excited. And so I left, and I took a lunch from 12 to 2, came back, and the partner who was over our area, our division, she basically said, don't ever take a 2-hour lunch and not report to me, and that's ridiculous. And that very day I quit because I thought, nobody's going to own me in this way. And all we did, we worked on the weekends. It was that kind of place. They had breakfast, lunch, and dinner planned for you, just like the movie The Firm. and so just really understanding, what you're looking for in your life and what you want for your life and what your culture and your own personal values are. And so that's what I've taken with me in my career and profession, in my own personal life. So.
Well, I love that. I can completely relate. I had not the wedding planning, but a more family matter in one of my last jobs before becoming an entrepreneur 17 years ago. So I can relate.
Yes. Like you don't own me.
Exactly. So you are the founder of the National Women of Color Empowerment Institute, an organization that I truly love dearly, and I have watched grow just leaps and bounds and just doing such important work in the community. Can you tell us more about the Women of Color Empowerment Institute?
Oh, sure. The Women of Color Empowerment Institute, our mission is to enhance and expand leadership by women of color, first of all. And we do this in a variety of different ways, including but not limited to providing mentorship opportunities for young professionals, where we assist in helping to create paths to leadership. We empower women to develop capacities for social and economic change. We produce programs that promote heritage awareness, and we provide training opportunities for business and government. Our institute holds seminars focused on professional success techniques, and we host many other events such as our popular Advocates for Change, Leaders Connect, and we also publish a Women Lead magazine. So our signature event, as you know, Anne-Marie, and I think you've been a speaker in the past, is the Women of Color Empowerment Conference. And it's a yearly conference where hundreds of women gather prior to COVID, of course, and hopefully we'll be able to do it again soon. But women gather from across the United States and beyond, and just learn about leadership techniques, embrace each other, support each other. And just recently we started a Women Lead television show, and so this is really something that we're proud of as well.
That is awesome. So that was one of my next questions, because I saw that the show recently launched. So tell us more about the show as well, because that is super exciting to, again, just see the growth. And now we're talking about we're on TV.
Yes, it is really exciting. And it's grown, frankly, because there's such a need. I think women of color are yearning to see ourselves in in different ways, and to understand and connect and support. And we're finding just so many different avenues to do that. And of course, COVID, hit, and it's just very difficult to try to get together during this COVID environment. While we've had some things that were socially distant type of activities, we want to be careful. We don't want to, get anyone sick or anything like that. So we've been trying to really look at things that we can do in an innovative way to work with universities on research opportunities and training, and also launch this television show. And so it airs on Sundays on the CW network, which is WSFL TV at 11:30 every Sunday. We're super, proud of it. We're on, I think, show number 6 right now, and so check us out Sunday 11:30 on the CW network. It's just a really great show that deals with we interview all kinds of women in leadership on interesting topics of health and wellness, and topics of leadership, which include social action, even social justice issues, politics, you name it. We're technology. We had a show recently on technology. We're covering it all. So make sure you and your viewers tune in, because it's a must see. And it's not just because it's not just dealing with women's issues. I think they deal with just issues in general for people of color.
Absolutely. Well, that is amazing. I will definitely be tuned in, and I hope everyone listening will mark their calendars and tune in as well. So and congratulations on this, your recent appointment to the Federal Judicial Nominating Conference of Florida. Congratulations to you.
Oh, thank you.
This was probably about a week or so ago you had this appointment. And, so what does this mean? And what's the significance? What is your role in this new position?
Well, first of all, I want to thank Congressman Alcee Hastings. I'm sure Congressman Hastings knows a lot of lawyers, and for him to select me as his appointee for this very prestigious position of the Federal Judicial Nominating Conference is just, amazing. And I'm so honored. But what the JNC does, we're tasked with providing the Florida Congressional Delegation with recommendations for highly qualified and diverse candidates for U.S. Attorney, U.S. Marshal, and U.S. District Court. And so these are for nominations in our region. So there are 3 JNCs throughout the state of Florida for these positions. And I think there are about maybe 6 or 7 people who serve on each one of them. And these lawyers bring a wide range of life experiences, professional experiences, which is based on, the diversity in the profession. And we're expected to, identify highly qualified lawyers who can be appointed and selected by the President of the United States for these leadership positions. Now, I'll tell you, we as Black lawyers got hit really, really hard the last 4 years under the previous administration. I think there was only 1 Black judge in 4 years appointed to the bench, which is, I don't even have words for it. And the word I'm thinking of, I won't say, but we've got to do better. And so I think that the congressional delegation recognized that. I'm happy that I'm going to be, involved with this process, and we hope to be able to identify some great people that the state will be proud of as well.
Wow. Well, that is such a tremendous role, and kudos to you. Definitely, I want to, learn more about this as you go through the process and appointments are made. And we hope that we, with you and others being in this role, that we'll definitely see, more diversity. And I think we're seeing that with this administration just across the board from day one. So I'm happy that this appointment was made, and that you're going to have a direct voice and influence in those types of decisions.
Yes.
So, which brings me, when we talk about leadership, and you lead an organization that is empowering women in leadership, we're seeing this growth And it's not that Black women was not in leadership roles or political roles before, but we're definitely seeing a uptick, which is a beautiful thing. More women running for office, more women becoming CEOs of corporate companies, and not just being in the, typical supply diversity role. More women leading in their communities. What are your thoughts on this growth and rise in leadership, or probably more of the recognition of Black women in leadership right now?
Well, I think we're stepping up. I think Black women as a whole, I think we're humble. We are behind the scenes. We work hard. We're doing the, making the calls and knocking on doors and doing all of these things that we need to do. And we're always lifting everybody else up. It's always for somebody else. And I think as Black women, we're just kind of coming into our own and accepting the fact that we deserve to be credited for the good that we are doing and standing up for it. Just recently, I was asked and it was kind of funny, there's a strategic planning session for another organization that I'm involved in. And I was asked, what is it that you think we ought to be focused on or highlight? And I said, frankly, Black women, because it has to do with political issues. And I said, look, when you look at what happened in South Carolina, what happened in Georgia. And, Black women were surrounding these efforts to change this administration so that we can actually have, a relief plan for the virus and everything else. So I think that we have to not only work behind the scenes, but also be committed to stepping up. Look at you. I mean, look, you just won a great election that was countywide. And I mean, just stepping up and coming into your own, you're a tremendous person. Other people recognize it. And
Thank you.
Why not? Why not you? Right. So I think just more Anne-Marie's, more people who are empowered and empowering other people. And I think organizations like the Women of Color Empowerment Institute, our leadership organization we have a mentorship program where we try to identify young leaders and make sure that we propel these leaders in the best way that we know by pairing them with people who are like Anne-Marie's and people who are really doing it out there, pairing them with just amazing women that can feed into their understanding and knowledge and show them the way and give some direction. And I think just being more cognizant of the fact that we have to do for us. And that's what the Institute is all about. And I think, though that organization, in addition to so many others that are really doing the groundwork to show us that it's time for us to, be recognized for what we're doing.
No, I love that. And you're right. It's definitely time for us to move out of the shadows into the forefront, because really and truly, like you said, when we look behind a lot of efforts, we've been leading the charge anyways, just behind the scenes, and everybody else gets the credit. So
that's right. Enough.
Exactly. Yes. So again, you have, and I'm sure we haven't even scratched the surface on all the things you have going on, Burnadette. And I will say, when I first met you and just learned about you and just have watched you over the years, you're such an inspiration. You bring so many other women along with you. And, I'm just always like, okay, how's Burnadette going to top what she just did? So what's next?
It's so funny.
What's next on the horizon for? Well, I say that because you're really an intricate part, even in your own local community. Where you're reinvesting in your community. You're not just from a real estate standpoint, commercially and residentially, but you put a whole empowerment institution in your community. So, what's next what's next on the horizon for Burnadette?
Well, I'll tell you, and thank you for all of that, Anne-Marie. I think that we all empower each other, really, and just looking. I mean, one of the things that I am looking to do is and it's funny that you should ask because a whole bunch of things went through my head. But the within the next year, in the area where we have the Empowerment Institute, which is in historic Sistrunk on Sistrunk Boulevard, we hope to open a women's empowerment center. So we hope to redo what we have now as a structure and actually have a women's empowerment center where we would have yoga and Pilates. Actually, I'm going to actually be a Pilates instructor myself, learn how to do it myself. Yes. And have a smoothie bar and healthy foods. And so it's going to be somewhat of a restaurant for, some period of time during weekdays, but also be just a meeting spot for just health awareness, where we can go as a group, because look, we can't do anything if we're not here, right? So we have to live in order to be empowering and be of service to others. And so, I can't say that I'm the best person in terms of eating choices all the time, but we were talking about that a little bit before we started, right? But I'm hoping that, even through this, my own personal goals will be realized in terms of having more of a plant-based diet and, so those kind of things. So that's what we're looking at next. And that's what we'd like to see. And we hope that women from everywhere will come into the community. And that Sistrunk area is changing dramatically, right? Every time you drive down the street, it's like a new building up or something. So great things are happening. Really excited about that. And we're excited about the future of the Institute and just empowering women to be their best healthy selves.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think that, and I definitely want to hear your take on this, because I do, see your videos where you go by the beach, you get your moment to, get that fresh air in and relax a little bit. At least I think you relaxing.
Thinking about work is what I'm doing. I'm just kidding.
But we're in a society where it's all about the hustle, the grind, being the boss, and the ongoing go. And that at some point definitely takes a toll on one's health. So how do you have any tips of what you do, especially because you wear so many hats, right, as well? So do you have any tips for women or, just other professionals who are just on the go and they're on the daily grind, they're involved in their community, but what about self-care? Do you have any self-care tips that you can share?
So yes, and I need to sometimes take my own advice for my self help tips that I'm going to offer. But you go through moments. I think I deal with things as they come a lot of times, and so when I have to grind, I grind it out, and I can grind with the best of them. But when I have to, I do realize and I recognize, and my husband's good with this also, with telling me, hey, you need to chill, and fortunately, I do love the beach. I love being out. I like walking. I just have to make myself do it more often. And these COVID pounds are no joke, right? But I do love being outside. I love sports. I love, just all of that. Everything that activity encompasses, I like. I just need to do more of it, like we all can probably stand to do a little bit more. So no tips, other than just making time for yourself. When I'm really good and operating on all cylinders, I actually, make that time happen in the mornings. And I mean, no matter what, if it's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever it is, I make that time for me to walk, to get out, to, if it's raining get on the treadmill, and just, try to do something for me. But I think, physical activity certainly helps to balance and just finding time to do it.
Absolutely. That's a good point. So what are some golden nuggets that you can share with our audience, especially Black women and girls? We have so many girls out there, especially, back in middle, high school, you're trying to figure it all out. Even college, you're still trying to figure it out. So what golden nuggets can you share with Black women, girls, and anyone else out there that's listening?
So this is going to sound really corny, and I know this in advance, but what I found is, you spend so many years, I guess, trying to, make it and whatever that means for you, and do your best and meet opportunities and be ready for those opportunities. But I think in the long run, for me, it comes down to just being authentic, being true to myself, not trying to do anything other than be me and be happy. And sometimes that comes out, and it's so funny because some people, spend a lot of time trying to assimilate and, be this person, be in this group and be different in that group. I'm the same all the time. So what you see is what you get. If you see it here, you see it in the boardroom, you see it in the law office, you see it in the courtroom, maybe not, maybe a little bit more polished in the courtroom, but I think you get my point. I mean, I try to be authentic and just really being true to who you are, and not, and recognize who you are, because then you don't have to try so hard. You don't have to try so hard. And I know for younger women, trying to find out who you are and figure that out, sometimes it can be difficult. But, just keep on listening to your heart, and keep on, praying and reading and trying to, be everything that you can be, but take care of yourself at the same time. And I always think of, to think of balance. I always think mind, body, spirit, right? So whatever spirit means to you, whether it means church or whether it means meditation, or whatever that means, find it. And whatever mind means to you in terms of reading and just understanding your craft and being the best you can be in your field of whatever that is, know it. And then body, we talked about that already, taking care of yourself, exercising and eating the best that you can, so if you can get all of those things working together, I mean, I think that's the key.
Absolutely. No, those are definitely all great points. I'm going to ask you, who is your greatest inspiration?
Interesting. And that's a question I wasn't prepared for, but I'll tell you, my greatest inspiration was actually my grandfather. I grew up not knowing my mother. My mother was murdered when I was very, very young. And so I grew up, my first parents were my grandparents, really. And so my grandfather was really someone who I saw in the community as someone who was out, doing the doggone thing. He owned a lot of property. He was very well respected. He treated people well. People loved him. He was, honored in our church, and just, that kind of thing. And seeing that kind of leader in my life, I think just made a long life impression on me. And it has to be my grandfather, Buster Brown. Call his name Buster. Oscar Brown is his name, but everybody called him Buster. And he was no Buster, but that was his nickname.
Wow, awesome. Well, he definitely left a mark on you that you're leaving on others. So, I don't even know the proper words to say, but much respect to Mr. Brown.
Yes, ma'am. Give it up, Mr. Brown.
Absolutely. So how does one get in touch with you, particularly for the, of course, if they need your law services, but definitely as well for the Women of Color Empowerment Institute? How does one get in touch with you to get involved, to support, or if they have, a young person who's looking for a mentor, how do they get involved with you or
Thank
get in touch with you?
Sure. You can find us at the law practice at 954-768-9770. Again, that's 954-768-9770. We're Austin Pammy's Norris Weeks Powell, and you can find us with the Women of Color Empowerment Institute in so many different ways. We're all over social media, Women of Color Empowerment Institute or National Women of Color, SFLWOC. We have a chapter in Atlanta as well. And if you go to nationalwomenofcolor.com, you'll be able to, find out all kinds of information. There are videos there. Some of the television shows are up online. You can also email us at info@nationalwomenofcolor.com. Our National Program Director is Lynn Dorr, and she'd love to hear from you and figure out how we can be of service. You can also apply for membership at nationalwomenofcolor.com. We're a great membership organization, still doing a lot of great things, and you can also donate to our cause at that website. So we look forward to doing more in the community and just raising the bar higher and higher and impressing Anne-Marie Sorrell.
Well, you constantly impress me, so.
You're kind. Thank you, sister. Thank you for this opportunity.
No problem. Thank you. Well, stay with me for just a moment. We're going to do a couple of quick announcements. Thank you to our sponsors, Broward Health, AARP, the Florida Lottery, and the African American Black Alzheimer's Disease Initiative at the John P. Husband Institute for Human Genomics, University of Miami Miller School of Medicine. Please check out our Black History Month issue if you have not done so. I know it's Women's History Month, but that's okay. You can go back and check out all the greatness that's in our Black History Month issue. We do have our Power issue coming up next month, so stay tuned for that. And next week, our guest is Christina Lucas, president of Invista Forensic. Now, this should definitely be interesting for those who are who love those forensic type shows and CSI shows. So looking forward to that discussion. And please remember to tune in to our show Soul, hosted by Miss Nikki Jellin, every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. as we disseminate intellectual entertainment on fashion, arts and culture, relationships, mental health, and food in South Florida. Share this video and please remember to mark your calendar for us to tune in with us every Thursday at noon.